Hey, what the hell's going on, you guys? This is Stupid Play Negative AE. Welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry. Just jump into the story here. I don't want to exit. There we go. Everyone in Hinami's looks at each other when I mention the Hinamizawa syndrome. They've never heard of that term. The word, or the name Hinamizawa syndrome has been around since before the war. This is the general term for the severe homesickness and mental instability that the people of Hinamizawa experience outside of the village. People in Hinamizawa refuse to go outside of the village since the era of Onagafuchi. Villagers believe they'll be cursed by Oyashiro-sama if they leave the village. Also, people who have left the village often come back because they got cursed. People used to think it was only severe homesickness. That during the war, soldiers from Hinamizawa became mentally deranged in faraway places. Well, so Rena had the whole story correct. Rena literally cracked the code in that one chapter. She literally predicted everything. The only thing she misthought was that there was aliens instead of demons, which is like whatever. But she nailed everything on the head. Being deranged is not a rare thing, but the way they killed other soldiers and the way they committed suicide is very special. One doctor became curious of their cases and just studied the soldiers. That's when they found out that the special syndrome only found in Hinamizawa. According to this doctor, their strange behavior is not coming from their culture. It's a mental disease triggered by external circumstances. An externally caused mental disease is different from psychological illness. It's a type of disease caused by some physical disorder. Some people become mentally unstable when something triggers it. There are 3 categories of externally caused mental diseases. They're internal, poisonous, and symptomatic. The internal type is when the brain is damaged. It causes mental dysfunction. People's personalities can change by injuring the brain. The poisonous type is literally caused by something poisonous, such as drugs and alcohol. The last category is symptomatic. This is a disease where the body secretes an unusual chemical due to some illness, and that causes people to have mental disorders. It may sound weird, but it's been said that people tend to get depressed when they have a cold. We all know that physical sickness can cause negative emotions in people's minds. However, in the case of the symptomatic type, it's more extreme. People's emotions are not created inside the heart. They're created by the chemicals secreted from our internal organs. When those internal organs get sick, very unusual chemicals can be secreted. It's known that the thyroid gland secretes hormones that control people's emotions. When the thyroid gland is defective, the hormone balance becomes unstable and people get sick. It can cause people to not only have a physical sickness, but a mental sickness, such as depression. People don't get mentally sick just because of mental problems. Humans are made out of flesh. We get mentally sick when our flesh is defective. The doctor also came up with a theory. There is a climatic disease in Namizawa, and if people get too far away from home, it affects their hormones and they start to hallucinate. The villagers' faith towards Oyashiro-sama is certainly related to this climatic disease. People in Onagafuchi village knew about the syndrome. They knew that they couldn't survive outside the village. They also didn't want anyone else to come inside the village because they would get infected too. That's fucking crazy. They took the syndrome as a curse, not a sickness. The most important characteristic of this disease is the extreme persecution, complex, and antisocial behavior. The suicide caused by the defect in the lymph node is also a particular characteristic. The unusual behavior of the terminal patients is related to the legend of the demons coming out of the swamp and attacking the villagers. Basically, the sick villagers had a severe persecution complex and wound up killing the other villagers. After a long time, survivors in the village started understanding the rules of their disease. They found out that it is a disease that is incurable once you contract it. That's why people stopped letting outsiders into the village. Also, once you become ill, you would develop a severe persecution complex. This can happen to anyone in the village. The doctrine of Oyashiro-sama says that the blood of humans and demons is mixed together, and that Oyashiro-sama is controlling the violent blood of the demons. People said that you'd be cursed if you didn't follow Oyoshiro-sama's rules, so following these rules, they could cope with this climatic disease. Then Oyoshiro-sama came and unified the humans and demons just like in the legend. Moreover, the most important thing, that's how to keep the disease under control. This is related to the taboos in this village. The horrible traditions in the village were probably performed in order to force people to respect these taboos. There are several ways to keep the disease under control, but there are two main conditions. The first one is suspicion. When people suspect someone, it can trigger the persecution complex and lead them to have terminal symptoms. That's why the villagers have made to have a stronger community so that people wouldn't suspect each other. Oyoshiro-sama is known for her horrific reputation, but she's also known as a god of marriage and friendship. However, this condition is not as dramatic as the other condition. In fact, this tradition is not practiced strictly in Namizawa anymore, and it's only recognized as in Hirasaka town in Okunomiya. Now for the other condition. This one is more clear, and it was practiced more strictly. If villagers leave the village, they will get ill quickly, proportional to the distance from the village. The village nowadays will not get sick rapidly. Villagers now will not get sick rapidly, even if they go out of town or country for a long time. However, back in the day, they would get sick very quickly as soon as they left the village. It's very unfortunate that Keiichi got infected so soon after he moved to the village. It is also very unfortunate that he got sick just because he left the village for a few days to go to his... Dude, he does get sick. Doesn't he get sick in one of the episodes? And like, that's the episode he goes crazy or something? Does he get sick in every episode that he does something crazy? That would be crazy. He got sick because he left the village, and suspicion is one of the triggers. See, like, these are the rules. Here are the rules. We found them. It only took however many. I don't even know what chapter this is. This is the second from the last chapter, I think. But we're finally getting the rules. These are the rules. They gave us pseudo rules before. They were like, here's some maybe rules that maybe work. But now we're actually getting rules. That's why Hanyu felt so bad for him in that world and kept on apologizing to him. Wait. Go back. Go to a relative's funeral. In that one world. That's why Hanyu felt so bad for him in that world and kept apologizing. No matter how much she apologized, she didn't want to hear these rules applied to the wisdom of the old times. People created the curse of Oyoshiro-sama in order to cope with the Namizawa syndrome. Is there any way to use this externally caused mental disease for military purposes? The aforementioned doctor insisted that there was, but the military didn't listen to him at all at the time. They were interested in developing a weapon that could make dramatic change to the war situation. They didn't have any money to spare for research of this strange disease. They were not going to do further study of the Hinamizawa syndrome. The war ended. Japan started its reconstruction under American leadership. However, some powerful in the political world didn't want to accept the American way of thinking. Some of them were fired by the GHQ, but they still stayed as advisors to the government, since Japan has a culture of respecting the elderly. Okay, eventually a political society was formed, and the object of which was to get Japan back to where it was before the war. In the beginning, the society was a very small group. It was only a small meeting of about 2 or 3 people. However, that small meeting eventually grew to a larger group. That larger group started expanding to become a big organization. That organization became a political society. It's actually better to call them a secret society. This secret society eventually came to be called by the name of the place it was based, Tokyo. Tokyo is full of mysteries. One thing I know for sure is that it's formed by the old people of Japanese political society, and they have a strong political influence and financial power that can change the government. They're also connected to various businesses, and they're plotting to take Japan back to where it was before the war. This is a ridiculous story. This is just a story from way back when the war ended. When Japan started reconstructing, Tokyo eventually became a mere name. However, some of them remained. Japan regained its peace in years passed after the war. However, some people still continue to believe that pre-war Japan was better, and they were determined to get it back. Tokyo was plotting from several directions to bring the old Japan back. They approached the problem economically, internationally, and through the military, too. Japan has no nuclear armaments due to the 3 non-nuclear principles. That means this country has to brown-nose America as long as they hold nuclear weapons. The number one priority of Tokyo is to be independent from America. They want this country to be on equal footing with America, and to attain a weapon of mass destruction other than a nuclear weapon. That's when they started thinking about utilizing the Hinamizawa syndrome. However, they couldn't study this disease openly. In order to utilize it for military purposes, they had to hide the existence of the disease itself. So, they sent one young researcher, Ida Kyosuke. I need to make it clear that Ida is not a right-wing supporter of the secret society. He was just a young, capable doctor and a researcher. He published an innovative thesis, but the medical society thought he was too radical. However, that convinced Tokyo that he was the only researcher suitable to study the Hinamizawa syndrome. Ida was young and ambitious. He was thrilled to take on the project of studying this rare disease with a large budget, a large staff, and his own facility. But researching this disease would mean that he'd get infected too. No one would want to take on such dangerous research. However, Ida was so young. He wanted to take the offer from his sponsor rather than being overworked by the rural hospital. He eventually found out that Hinamizawa syndrome is a special infectious disease, and he discovered a vaccine and a means of treatment. Ida was such a promising doctor. The Ida Institution was formed for the study of the disease. He's the head of the organization, but Tokyo sent a person in charge because when all is said and done, Ida is just a researcher. That was Takano Mio. Takano's job was to be in between Tokyo and Ida, managing the research progress and securing the secret. Securing the secret was the most important part of her job. She had to do her best not to let people know that he was researching this disease, or that this disease even exists. The Mountain Hounds were formed to secure the secret. Dude, these are all the answers. We're getting all of the answers. The Mountain Hounds are under Takano's command. Not that we didn't have this part, but, all the rest of it, we're getting all the answers. The Mountain Hounds are under Takano's command, and their job is to keep the secret from outside. They're a special unit formed by Tokyo. Tokyo believed that an elite force would help discipline the country during disputes. They were training the force secretly. This is a worldwide trend since the Cold War prevented the whole world from sending troops directly to their armies. Japan was also trying to be part of the world. As a result, the police were forming several secret forces by the 58th year of the Showa era. The second unit, the one that came when Rena laid siege to the school, eventually changed its name. They became the anti-terrorist unit, guarding mainly the Kansai airport. Narita Airport is also guarded by a similar unit, known as the 7th Company today. They believe that the way to fight without using nuclear weapons is to disturb the major cities using elite special units. In the 52nd year of the Showa era, the police established the Task Force SAP in order to keep the peace in the major cities. Japan Coast Guard also established the Special Task Force SST protecting the coast. There are several known special units in Japan. Most tend to think of a movie or something when they hear the phrase special unit. However, these units actually exist and they are protecting Japan secretly. When there was a suspicious ship by the coast of the Noto Peninsula, the news reported that the ship sunk before the commando group got in their helicopters. That was because the SST took it down. However, the news doesn't talk about the SST or any other special unit. All of these units were established after Tokyo made the suggestion to the government. Researching the tactics under the name of peace and order worked perfectly for Tokyo. But since the anti-war movement in the middle of the Showa era made people resent those forces, the special units were kept a secret until the 58th year of the Showa era. These special forces are not all formed under the jurisdiction of the police. There are still many military units that are kept secret from the average citizen. The Mountain Hounds are actually one of those special military special units. They specialize in the kidnapping, espionage, and maintaining of secret information. They are virtually an assassination unit. They used to secretly maneuver during the dam conflict too. Tokyo tried to stop the dam project because it was going to interfere with EDA's research. The Mountain Hounds are the one who kidnapped the minister's grandson. They believed that the Sonozaki family was the center of the movement, but in reality, the Mountain Hounds were doing many of the jobs. In that sense, the existence of the Sonozaki family was an advantage to the Mountain Hounds. Their main job after the dam conflict was to keep the disease hidden from the public. If something strange happened, the media would immediately spread the rumor throughout the country. Tokyo didn't want the disease to be known as a countrywide, since they were trying to utilize the disease for their own purposes. The main task for Mountain Hounds was to kidnap the sick patients. They posed as gardeners, but in the actuality, they came to the village to make sure nothing strange happens. It's just crazy how Brenna just nailed everything. It was just like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and nail all of the things that are happening. I'm going to go crazy in quotes, but I'm actually just going to figure out everything. And the ones who were deemed away, the people who went missing, there are also related to some of the mysterious deaths in the village. The last important person is Tomitaki Jiro. I don't know his real name. He was an auditor who was sent from Tokyo 4 times a year. He came to check on the research progress and explain the request from Tokyo. He also discussed the research budget with EDA too. Then he got EDA's observation report from Takano. That was Tomitaki's job. EDA started out studying the autopsy results of the villagers, and he discovered many answers from that. In the 54th year of the Showa era, the Mountain Hounds kidnapped the suspect of the murder of the construction chief, who was a terminal patient of the Hinamizawa syndrome. The disease was dramatically clarified. The research made rapid progress after that and discovered a medicine, a vaccine, and a method of treatment for the illness. At the same time, they continued to investigate how to utilize it for military purposes. One of the interesting findings of the research is that the pathogen could only be found when the patient is still alive. On top of that, they couldn't detect a pathogen unless they used a certain inhumane method. In other words, it's virtually impossible to detect the pathogen by normal means. It left almost no trace, and the unusual reaction seemed voluntary, so they concluded that this disease could be used to their advantage. However, Tokyo was going through some changes at that time. It's almost been 50 years since the war ended. Many of the old boys of the Japanese government had aged, and the center of the organization in Tokyo was starting to shift towards the new generation. The whole organization started to shift. Of course, the purpose of Tokyo stayed the same. It was still a secret society of ultranationalists who want Japan to be at the top of the world. However, the ambition to fight against America and to take the world over has diminished. Tokyo has directed his priority toward economy, international affairs, and education. But that doesn't mean the ambition is all gone. There are still several seniors alive who have those ambitions. They continue to use the budget to perform military research. But for the present-day Tokyo, EDA's research is actually an awkward research now. The new Tokyo is no longer interested in his project, and they announced they're going to cut the budget for them as soon as the seniors pass away. However, EDA objected to their plan, claimed it was necessary to continue the research. This is what Okunogi was talking about. EDA was in disagreement with Tokyo. EDA's research was making great progress around that time. They discovered various treatments and testing methods. He was even starting to develop a treatment plan for the whole village. If they stopped the funding, EDA's research would end without any results. Tokyo had a discussion with EDA through Tomitaki, and they decided to stop the research partially, but not fully. However, they told him to immediately stop researching the military usage and destroy all the research data for that. He didn't have much interest in using the disease as a weapon anyway, so EDA accepted that right away. Tokyo believed it was much better for him to let him find a cure for the disease than to terminate his research and neglect the illness. By this time, EDA was becoming one of the villagers. He was starting to feel guilt over researching the disease without telling them. Both Tokyo and EDA agreed to terminate the research as soon as he discovered a way to completely eradicate the Hinamizawa syndrome. EDA made a plan for the next 3 years, and he promised he would find a resolution by the 61st year of the Showa era. The meeting they had this June was to discuss plans for the budget for the next 3 years. The story goes back to the beginning. Supposedly, EDA is battling with Tokyo, and he's planning to kill Furude Rika as his trump card. The other story is that Takano killed Tomitaki, and she's trying to kill Furude Rika as her trump card. I need to explain why Furude Rika is the trump card. To answer that comes from the old tradition of Hinamizawa. Supposedly, the members of the Furude family have the blood of Oyashiro-sama in their veins. But Oyashiro-sama is supposed to be just a creation imagined up so that people could cope with the syndrome. However, that's not actually true. There's a special existence needed for the pathogens to survive. That existence is the Furude family. The truth behind the presence of Oyashiro-sama and the coexistence of the demons and humans is that Oyashiro-sama is actually the queen of the village. According to EDA's research, Rika is adored by the whole village not only because she's a cute girl, but because she is the queen. The infected patients are unconsciously driven to protect their queen. EDA calls it a pheromone. Furude Rika's mother was also adored by the village since childhood. However, as soon as she had Rika, the people's attention quickly shifted to Rika. EDA calls it the succession of the throne. In this village, the queen is a special existence. There are theories that the infected patients are actually unable to survive when they're away from the queen, not from the village. According to EDA's research, the queen can only survive in Hinamizawa. Also, the infected patients can only stay alive when they're around her. But this is just a theory. But surprisingly, the first doctor who found the syndrome was also aware of the existence of the queen. That doctor was also knowledgeable about the local culture, and he was interested in how the Furude family was valued so much in the village. He assumed that the queen and the Furude family had the power to control the whole village. The truth is unveiled now, but perhaps the Furude family had some kind of supernatural in the ancient days. Supernatural power in the ancient days. The only thing Rika can do is be adored by the villagers, though. Anyway, if that's the case, the question is what happens if the queen disappears from this village? The aforementioned doctor predicted that if the queen dies, the whole village will be destroyed. Wait, what? He suggested that the villagers would protect the queen with all their power. Rika is precious not only because EDA found many answers after studying her body, but if Furude Rika dies, the 2,000 people in Hinamizawa will turn into demons. They won't even realize they're getting sick. They will be overcome by an extreme persecution complex, and they will start killing each other out of fear. This is why the Mountain Hounds were protecting the queen, Furude Rika. Her death was equal to the death of the village. That's why Furude Rika is the trump card for those who know she's the center of this whole epidemic. This is what Hinamizawa is all about. June of the 58th year of the Showa era. The liaison of Tokyo, Tomitaki, was found dead mysteriously, even though he was vaccinated. At the same time, Takano was also kidnapped and murdered on that same night. Though I don't know for sure if she's really dead or not. Furude Rika is also going to be murdered. I've never been suspicious of Tokyo before. I thought that Tokyo was always on my side. They must be on my side. If I die, there will be a disaster. However, at the same time, there are some people in Tokyo who are trying to use me to their advantage. I never thought that there were opposing factions within Tokyo. I guess I was naive enough to not realize that Tokyo had internal problems due to the generation gap. Anyway, I wouldn't be feeling this way if I didn't suspect that Takano might still be alive. I feel like I'm starting to see the whole picture. There's a possibility that Takano is the victim and EDA is the bad guy. Either way, the Mountain Hounds might be on my side, or they might be assassins who are trying to kill me. I'm too afraid to drink a whiskey wine. I'd rather drink a cheap wine with a bad taste. After telling everything to my friends, I finally realized that I can only trust my friends and the police. I'm so stupid. I thought I was thinking so hard, but I never understood anything. I finally realized I can make things clear just by talking to my friends like this. I never thought this would make such a big difference. This is the end of my story. As I expected, everyone is shocked. They stare at me with their mouths open. I'm sure even Oishi wouldn't believe this story. That's a natural thing. I'm sure I sound like a crazy person. Satoka, we go to the clinic every week to support the research, right? We're not just supporting EDA's research. We go there so you can get the treatment. That's right. You told me that Satoko is ill. I am? Ho 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 ho. But you're saying that it's not only me, but that the whole village is infected with the disease. Why would I have to take a shot every day and not everyone else? I thought it was just a new type of vitamin that the manager is developing. Satoko, you're a terminal patient. That's why you need 2 shots a day to keep your illness under control. EDA was very passionate about saving you, but he still couldn't find a better treatment to slow down your disease. He's still working hard to find a cure for you. Don't you joke around. I thought we were getting financial support by supporting his research. I don't want to get those shots every day for the rest of my life. She's upset that she didn't know anything about this, and she also doesn't want to accept the fact that she needs shots for the rest of her life. Her hollow laughter makes everyone feel so sad. Keiichi opens his mouth. So, if she misses that shot, she'll react like she did that day? There was a day where she forgot to take her shot. She thought that her principal was her uncle. Her fear became escalated, and she thought her uncle came inside the school to take her back. Once she feels that way, there's no turning back for her. That's right. That's why I tell her not to miss her shot every day. I don't believe you. What do you mean I'm a terminal patient? Why me? No way. When did I become so sick? Satoko's face contorts and tears start falling from her eyes. I shouldn't have said this. Satoko is starting to remember something she's not supposed to remember. Sorry, Satoko. You don't have to remember. That was just an accident. It wasn't your fault. No, this is a lie. You're lying. You're just lying to us. Our friends have no idea what Satoko is talking about. They don't need to know. They don't ever need to know about this because they're her friends. Okay, so you gave us a whole bunch of answers and then you presented a new one. Rena holds Satoko's shoulder gently. Rena also holds my shoulder too. We believe your story, Rika-chan. Thank you. You've been carrying such a heavy burden for a long time. I'm proud of you. You've been struggling all alone to this day. Never thought Rena would say something like that to me. I can tell my eyes are filling up with tears. It's difficult to have a secret that you can't tell people. Mine was not a big deal compared to yours, but I still understand your pain. I agree. Proud of you too, sis. I act like you sometimes, so I understand your struggles. You're all going to believe my story? Of course. We said we'd believe you. I feel relieved because a lot of my questions about this village are answered now. So is everyone in this village infected by that disease, the Hinamizawa syndrome? Yes, everyone is infected. But unlike the old days, this disease is getting weaker now. That's why people can survive even if they move far away or go somewhere far for a trip. But some people still get sick, right? I can't leave this village anymore. Even if you get sick, you can still control the illness yourself. It's simple yet very difficult. Even if you become suspicious of someone, do not be suspicious. Continue to trust. When you become too suspicious of someone, it will degenerate into the persecution complex, and it will be too late. As long as everyone stays close and happy, we'll never have to worry about this disease. The disease starts with an emotional illness. Modern people don't believe in curses the way many people in the old days did. That's why we might be more tolerant to the disease. Okay, then we should be fine. Yep. We're friends and we're family. We should never be suspicious of each other. Where the fuck's Satoshi at? I want to know. I want to know where Satoshi is or what he's doing. Are we gonna get a reveal? Are they gonna dive more into Satoshi? Because I feel like Satoshi's like a wild card. I know I use that a lot. I use that term a lot, but I feel like he is. Okay, we've eliminated everybody from the situation. Everybody has de-wild carded themselves, and it's going to be real hard to pull a twist over on me right now. But you know, Satoshi has not been de-wild carded. Supposedly he had the disease, right? He can't leave the village forever. Or are we to like make our own assumption about Satoshi and just say that he died because of this disease, because he went crazy, and then was quietly silent somewhere? Like, I don't know. I don't want to think that the Mountain Hounds have bugged this room. But if Okanogi is hearing this conversation, they will definitely kill not only me but all of my friends tonight. That's true no matter who my enemy is. Well, it sounds like we should all be prepared to fight now. Let's sum up the story. Someone might come and kill you, knowing that your death could cause chaos in this village. Is that correct? They're coming for me for sure. Are they after me for sure? Are you sure? Will they get rid of their trump card that easily? He's right. Trump card is like a treasure. Isn't it better to have it in your possession? Toko's eyes are still swollen, but she's not crying anymore. But think about it, Satoko. If you have more than one trump card, you want to play one of them right away. That's true. It's effective to have more than one hostage. One hostage is not as valuable as multiple hostages. Anyway, we don't know anything for sure. That means we can't be too optimistic. Everyone nods. What do you think about the Mountain Hounds? Do you think they're our enemies? That's not even an issue. They're like wolves trying to watch after the sheep. Just think of all the suspicious people as bad guys. We need to seek help from everyone who has nothing to do with Tokyo. I agree. I think you made a pretty good choice by seeking help from the police. Uishi-san is on our side, right? Yes. Uishi doesn't know everything yet, so he thinks that the suspect of the curse of Oyashiro-sama is targeting me. I think you should talk to Uishi-san too. We need some help from adults. That's pretty risky. What if they don't believe her and step away from the investigation? We should still talk to him. He said that he's going to retire this year and that it is his last chance to avenge his old friend. I'm sure he will believe any story, no matter how unbelievable. Yes. He helped us when we were trying to save Satoko-chan, too. I think he'll stay on our side. Okay, let's talk to Uishi. Where is he now? He's in Gifu. He went to go check on Takano's body. Oh. She was found in Gifu, right? She was burned to death inside an oil drum. I wonder why Uishi has to go there directly to check on her. There's a possibility that it might not be Takano's body, but the Gifu police department is not being very cooperative. He said that the Mountain Hounds specialize in securing secrets and manipulating information. I'm suspicious of that dead body. I don't think she's the kind of person who would easily die from being burnt. There's still a possibility that EDA is the bad guy and that he killed Takano. That's what Okanogi tried to make me believe. I don't think the manager is the bad guy. He's not that kind of guy. That's right. He's basically a nice person as long as you don't let him talk about maids. Okay. As the assistant of the Namizawa fighters, I also think the manager is innocent. More like someone who could be easily used. He's just a really nice guy. Everyone suspects Takano-san. Well, we're just saying, if we compare the manager and Takano-san, you know? Takano-san will be upset when she hears this. Everyone laughs as if we're having a club activity. They are after my life, they'll kill everyone here. There's a great possibility that we will all get involved in this mess. I'm impressed by how strong my friends are. I start laughing with them too. I'm surprised it took Rika 100 years for this revelation to happen. I feel like after like 5 years, maybe I would be like, alright, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to tell everybody everything and see what happens. Granted, I don't know. It's very specific circumstances that led to this moment, yes. But like at the same time, I don't know. It would take me maybe 5 years. Maybe. If that. If not the second year. If someone told Tomitaki, they would hide her body somewhere and never find it. Burning her body in the middle of the woods is like telling people to find her. Right. I agree with you. I feel like they're trying to make this identified body be Takano-san just because it was found outside the province and the police can't further investigate. That's the specialty of the Mountain Hounds, right? I think it's getting clear. The Mountain Hounds are working for Takano-san, right? And the leader of the Mountain Hounds is saying that the manager is pulling the strings. I bet Takano-san and the Mountain Hounds are working together. Tomitaki-san died so Tomitaki-san died that way so the manager would be suspected. Tokyo is the only organization who would suspect the manager. They also found the body of the true mastermind, Takano-san. Tokyo will suspect that the manager killed both of them. I see. This is a well-planned setup, though it's not perfect. It sounds like the Mountain Hounds are setting up the manager. I think we should talk to the manager directly. That's the best way to do it. How do you leave this house? How do you leave this house and get to the EDA facility or tell Oishi something? I can tell if he's lying and telling the truth or not just by looking into his eyes. You're good at revealing lies. Mountain Hounds are also observing EDA right now. Or EDA now. He might not be able to get on the phone. What? That sounds even more suspicious. I hope the manager is not in danger right now. Yeah. If I were a member of the Mountain Hounds and I was trying to set him up, I would kill him before he said something I didn't want him to say. A dead person can't say anything, huh? Uishi will come back as soon as he takes care of the business in Gifu. I don't know what time it'll be, but he'll be here for sure. Everyone looks at the clock. Time is past 6:30 and it's starting to get dark. No wonder I'm so hungry. We would usually call it a day if this was a normal day. But they decided to stay here until Uishi comes back and we discuss what to do. Can I use your phone, Rika-chan? I need to call my dad and let him know that I'm going to be late tonight. I need to call my mom too. I have to call my grandma and tell her to order something for dinner tonight. We'll be in big trouble afterwards. We have to get something to eat for those officers too. We can order some sushi. Everyone reacts to the word sushi. They are all hungry. Those officers should be hungry too. I have to be in a very specific mood for sushi. I feel like sushi's pretty good, but I have to be in a mood for it. We don't have that kind of money. Satoko, why don't you cook stir-fried vegetables for everyone? What? I can. I've never cooked for this many people. Satoko's stir-fried vegetables? I would love to try it, as long as there's no fingers inside. Satoko, I want to eat your food too. The next moment, the phone rings. Hello, this is Furude. Glad you're safe. This is Uishi. I've finished everything in Gifu and I'm heading toward Okinomiya right now. I'm calling from the gas station. What about Takano's body? I did it. I found an easy mistake in their paperwork, but they were so stubborn. I had to really talk to them. Takano is still missing with her vehicle. She may have some information regarding Tomitaki's murder, so I've just issued a search warrant for her. I'm getting close to revealing the secret of the curse of Oyashiro-sama. I'm going to solve this case. Uishi sounds so motivated. He finally found a hint to this case. Is he really going to be able to solve this case? I'm looking forward to hearing your story. I'm heading to your house with Kuma-chan, so please tell us what you know. You can talk to me about anything you can think of. Yes. I'm ready to talk to you about everything. I look forward to hearing it. I should be there in about an hour. It sounds crowded there. Are your friends with you? Yes, everyone came here to support me. I see. I'm impressed with your friends. I think it's better for you to stay with them too. I think it's a good way to keep criminals away from you. I'm on my way now. I'll see you later. Was that Oishi-san? Yes. He's heading this way with the other detective. So this is the first time this room will have so many people inside of it. How many people will it be? 6 of us here, so 8 people. I hope our floor won't break. Oh, I'm the 9th person. Anya, are you listening to us? This is turning out to be very interesting. You think this time will be different? Yes, I'm sure. This time is different. Don't say that you're sure. It would devastate you if nothing changed. Anya, you still think that I'm dying today? I don't want you to die. I know what you're thinking. You're not going to believe because you don't want to be hurt. That way you won't be let down. I'm not going to judge your opinion anymore. You just stay there and watch like a bystander. Yes, I'm just a bystander. But I'm still rooting for you. Rooting for me? Thanks. But are you sure you want to root for me? Are you sure you won't be hurt if I lose? Don't be mean, Rika. I feel so relaxed. However, the feeling is of unease is beginning to settle over us. I'm getting hungry. Should we grab something on our way? You're right. It's almost 8 p.m. Didn't realize we had a late lunch today. We can go get something after we finish hearing her story. You sent 4 officers there. I think they're probably worn out by now. Hopefully Furude-san ordered something to eat for them. Uishi and Kumagai's car passed the city of Okinomiya and getting closer to Hinamizawa. They hurry toward Hinamizawa, driving on the dark street. I wonder what Furude Rika wants to talk to you about. I'm sure she's going to tell me something outrageous. The village used to be Onagafuchi Village. That name came from the name of the swamp. Interesting. What do you want to do about her protection? Depending on what she tells us, we might have to move her to a safer location. The whole of Hinamizawa is like the lion's den. You never know what can happen in that village. We just need to hear what she has to say. The leader of the Furude family is in danger, and the next leader of the Sonozaki family is trying to protect her. How would anyone be able to kill Furude Rika under the circumstances? The Kimiyoshi family is the only family I could think of. I haven't heard anything dirty about the Kimiyoshi family. I guess there are some extreme believers of the Oyashiro-sama hidden in the village. I wonder what secret lies at the bottom of the swamp. They drive on the road between the rice paddies. They pass by the crime scene of Tomitaki Juro's murder. Yukano left Tomitaki there. I'm sure about that, but I wonder why he died like that. The forensics didn't find any drugs in his system, right? Didn't find any drugs, but that's not going to prove anything. There are hundreds of strange drugs in this world. There's no proof that those drugs were not being used. There must be some kind of drug that we're just not aware of. I'm sure of that. There must be some kind of drug out here that made him scratch his hurt until he died. I'm going to make the suspect talk about it once I make the arrest. It would be even better if Rika Furude would tell me about it, though. You must have learned how false charges are made after seeing what happened in Gifu today. It was horrible. If that guy was in our department, I would never forgive him. Flat out refused to admit he made a mistake. The Gifu Police Department is still convinced that body belongs to Takano Mio, but we're not going to believe that. The top of the department will make a final decision. It's obvious that they made a simple mistake. They're just not admitting it because they don't want to get in trouble. They need to rethink their attitude. Car suddenly shakes. Concrete road has ended and they're on gravel now. The beginning of the gravel road is the entrance to Hinamizawa. They continue to drive through the woods for a while. Kuma-chan. Stop the car. What? Uishi tells him to stop right now. Kumagai steps on the brake in a hurry. The seatbelt tightens to lock them in their seats. What's wrong? I wonder what that car is doing over there. Uishi taps on the rearview mirror. There's a van parked off the street. The beat-up van looks like someone's private business vehicle. There's no reason for someone to park their car here. Kumagai also thinks it's suspicious. It seems like the car is empty, but there's a light flashing inside of the woods. Might be a flashlight. It's strange at this time. I'm surprised you even saw this car. Or that car. I'm always telling you, a detective must pay attention at all time. Or all of the time. I wonder what he's doing there. Is he dumping something illegally? Is he dumping someone's body? Perhaps it might be 2 lovebirds having a secret date. But that can't be it, judging by the vehicle. Hello, Okinomiya SP, can you hear me? Good evening and good night. This is Okinomiya SP, I can hear you fine. I need a license number scanned. XX, XXXXXX. Let me repeat, XX, XXXXX. It might take a while. We'll wait. Oishi-san, according to the map, there's a facility of the Japan Telephone Company here. What the heck is that? People call it a facility and there are no people there, and that's just where they keep their system. He isn't sure how telephone lines work, but they have some kind of connecting device there, or here. But that's just an ordinary van. That doesn't look like the vehicle of the Japan Telephone Company. They should have a company name on the van if it was them. So some other company might be taking care of it. Anyway, we should just go and ask. She's not sure if that's the case. Why would a phone company come and do maintenance at this time of night? Let's go check on what's going on. Rude-san is waiting for us, so we need to be fast. Yes, sir. I feel like this is either a bait, and Oishi dies, and the key is just to tell our friends everything from the beginning, or I don't know. I feel like it's a bait. I said or because I feel like there was another solution to that, but no, it's a bait. Why? They wouldn't be that careless to have a flashlight. Right? Like, wouldn't they bring, like, night vision goggles? Why the fuck would they have a flashlight? I guess night vision goggles don't exist yet. I guess is the excuse. I don't know. Feels just something is shady. He knows that special power when he has a special power when it comes to something like this. This is Higurashi 2. Vehicle is stopped. 2 people got out. I suspect they're detectives. They're approaching you and will make contact in less than a minute. Completely dark out there, yet they can see the 2 newcomers clearly. They must have been using their night vision scope. They have night vision stuff! Why would you be using a flashlight? Attention everyone. Higurashi 2 through 5 must wait for the green light. Higurashi 7 and 8 must clear 100 meters. Roger. Higurashi 4 and 5, copy? Higurashi 4, roger. Higurashi 5, roger. Higurashi 7, roger. Higurashi 8, roger. This is Higurashi. This is Higurashi. What the fuck is Higurashi? Higurashi. There's been some trouble in the modification of the phone facility. There are 2 detectives. We need to request clearance to open fire. Roger. Wait for the order. I knew it! It's a bait! You got Jebaited. You saw a flashlight, you were like, let me investigate, and you were Jebaited. By the time Oishi and Kumagai reach the phone facility, they're being watched from various directions. There are 2 binoculars and 2 sniper rifles pointing at them. There's a pair of shooters and a pair of watchers. They are located in different places so they can shoot Oishi no matter where he tries to run. They're all in camouflage suits hiding deep within the woods. No wonder Oishi can't spot them. The 2 snipers are aiming at their heads the whole time. They should have no idea. They're on the verge of losing their lives right now. The rifles are still locked, but they can be released any minute. They're ready to shoot any time. Unless they're Jebaited, unless Oishi figures something out and is like, okay, yeah, you're on your way. Have a wonderful evening. And then even then, I feel like they would shoot him, right? No, because they don't want more work for themselves. So, like, if Oishi doesn't suspect anything, they won't shoot him. So if Oishi can catch on, then they won't die. But I feel like they will. I feel like they will die. I feel like that's the problem, is that they'll die, and then reinforcements won't show up. And then how are you going to leave the building? You got a military force. You got a fucking whole military-ass force. You got a whole military-ass force trying to kill you. I feel like when you say the term, or when you say the statement, the military is after you, you're fucked. Like, what are you gonna do as a one person? As a there's just, I don't know, there's just nothing you can do. But, like, I guess if you can see it coming, like, months beforehand, I don't know. Good evening. Sorry, but could you leave? We're in the middle of maintenance operations. There are 4 men working here. They're wearing blue uniforms. They have their toolbox open and are working on some wires. We're sorry to interrupt you. We're from the police. We were wondering what you guys were doing since it was strange to see a van parked out here. Good evening, officers. We're almost finished. Who are you guys? You're not from the Japan Telephone Company, are you? Oh, we're not. We're from the Okanogi Electrics. Oops. Sorry. I'm out of business cards. Okinoki Electrics. Where's your office located? Huh? Oh, it's in Okinomiya. Could you give me the phone number and the address of your office? Why are you asking? You forgot the telephone number? Uishi looks at them with a piercing glare. Their response is very suspicious. Usually the vehicle of the electric company is full of various types of equipment. However, the van parked there has nothing inside and looks just like an ordinary car. Also, the company car usually has the name of the company painted on it, but this one is just a plain van. That's not the reason why Uishi feels they're suspicious. It's their attitude that bothers him. They don't sound or act or look like typical contractors. They're obviously not electricians. The time is strange, and the number of people is strange too. They're obviously suspicious of Uishi. However, that's about the only thing he can tell. He knows they're suspicious, but he has no idea what they're trying to do there. One guy tells Uishi the phone number. Kumagai writes the number down so we can ask the department to call and confirm this number. We're not doing anything suspicious. You guys are very suspicious. Who are you? If you really are a contractor, you should have the proof of that. But you don't have anything. Besides, your whole attitude seems off. Officer, please don't be mean to us. Just leave us alone. We need to finish up our work here. We're making a huge mess, and it doesn't seem like it'll be over soon. It almost seems like they're just getting started. We know you're not really a contractor. You should have studied better if you wanted to act like an electrician. Uishi raises his voice. The members of the Mountain Hounds gradually start to look annoyed. Uishi looks at their faces. Then he grins at them. However, Uishi has no idea. He thought he could handle these suspicious people, but in reality they're horrific demons that he can't deal with. Meanwhile, Kumagai is going back to the car. He's there to contact the police department. He will call the department using the radio. Then the department will call the Japan Telephone Company. That way they can reveal who they really are. Attention, Ugusu 1. You have permission to fire. Ugusu 7, clear. Ugusu 8, clear. The sniper is still aiming at Kumagai's head as he heads back towards the vehicle. The lock on the rifle is no longer in effect. The sniper places his finger to the trigger. He's wearing a glove, fingertips cut off. His finger looks so cruel. As he slightly moves his finger, he will take someone's life. This is Ugusu 1, everything is clear, all green. Kumagai hears a quiet noise. It's similar to the sound of jumping rope that he used to use as a whip when he was little. That's the last thought Kumagai has in this world. Kumagai collapses to the gravel road. That was it. He didn't even jerk. Ooh. Uishi is laying on his back on the concrete after getting shot in the chest. His lungs are filled with blood, and the blood comes out of his mouth. Uishi realizes that he was hit when the world begins to blur before his eyes. He can vaguely remember those guys aiming guns at him, but he doesn't care anymore. Baited. Dude. Jebaited. 100%. From the beginning. As soon as you got out of the car, granted, I knew that they were a military force, and Uishi doesn't know that they're a military force. But that's fine. Like, it's whatever. I understand his decision to investigate two suspicious people. This is Okinomiya SP. We've scanned the license plate number. Detective Uishi? Detective Uishi? Huh? Do we have a bad signal? Detective Uishi. He's not answering. Uishi wanted the plate number scanned? Whose car is it? It's just a villager's car. No one special. Who is it? Must be someone suspicious if Uishi-san is talking about it. Seems like nothing is out of the ordinary. No accidents, no tickets. He's probably pissed off that the car passed him on the street. He can be a pretty stubborn guy sometimes. This is Ugudasu. We took them out. We're resuming our job now. Roger. Be sure to get rid of their vehicle. Major Ugudasu terminated the two officers. They're resuming their mission. Oh, that's a cute-ass outfit, though. You may be evil, but you have a cute-ass evil outfit. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. because it's 54 minutes and things are going crazy. We'll go ahead and record another episode of this. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Lots of visual novel roguelike content. Although, who knows? Who knows what's going on the channel? You never know. That's a cute-ass outfit. Am I lying? Is that a lie? It's not a lie. That's a cute-ass outfit. It looks like she's like going to a funeral. But like, that's a cute-ass funeral outfit, to say the least. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done obsessing over her cute outfit. Anyway, goodbye. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, you guys.